coming right there.
All right, situational awareness. I'm going to start with vehicles. Unlocking your vehicles. People don't think about this, but they have a mechanical button you push to lock your vehicles when you leave it. Okay, the reason you want to do that is because it isn't sending a signal out like when you use your vehicle key. You don't want that someone to pick that up, and then when you're in the store, they can come back, push a button, and open your vehicle for you. So when you leave your vehicle, always use the button, mechanical button on your door to lock it. When you come back out and you want to unlock it, that's fine with your key fob, but not when you're locking it and going inside of a building. There are tons of people who know how to pick locks. So I'm not teaching you, preventing this next part from somebody picking your lock. But let's say they get into your house and they didn't pick it. They broke a window, whatever. All of your inside locks, your deadbolts, two things. They have little steel casings that you put into the wall that your deadbolt goes actually into. Now you just can't break the frame out because it's in a metal box, okay? Make sure you do that. Second, you need to have the keys that are on the inside for that deadbolt. Because when you leave, you take those keys and you hide them somewhere where everybody knows they're in your family. So if they make entry in and they haven't picked your lock, they just can't go in and out your doors because there's no key to unlock it. Okay, so that's two things for situational awareness on your vehicles and your house that you can do. Now your windows, they make locks that you can buy that you can drill and put in there. So they would have to break your window. They can't get in and open it with locks. And if you don't buy any of those, you can just take a screw and screw it through your frame. All right, one other thing that you need to know about in your house or if you're traveling are door stops. Doesn't sound like much. I'm not talking about keeping the door open. I'm talking about preventing the door from being kicked open. Now this, on doors that have large thresholds like my house, these won't work. The threshold's too high. This happens to be for vehicles, for your chalk block for your vehicle, but it's big enough that if I put it at the bottom of my door where the threshold is, and you try to kick or push my door open, it's going to stop it, okay? Now, a lot of the doors don't have that larger threshold, so you can use these type of wedges to go in there. And when you're traveling, when we would go into hotel rooms and stuff, we'd always have these with us. And once we get into a room, we put it up underneath the door so it can't be pushed open without there being a serious problem trying to get the door open. Then we have the chance to react to it. You know, if you use an explosion or shoot the door hinges off, it isn't going to work. But someone trying to push it open or kick it open or using a ram to hit it, it's not going to open. And it gives you an opportunity to not only know someone's trying to break in, but what you're going to do to defend yourself. So these are simple little things that you can use in your home, or you can use them when you travel. Through the inside to the outside of your window and the inside of your window, and now you can't open the window at all. So they would have to break it to get in. The only disadvantage of the screw is if you needed to get out, you'd have to unscrew that. So they make a locking mechanism that takes the key that you can just do the exact same thing and you can unkey it and open your window and get out. So that's what I would recommend doing. Observation techniques. Now, I'm not going to get into a lot of stuff on observation, but if you think that you're being followed, you take somebody that you trust, a family member or friend, and you figure out a pattern that you're going to drive that day and places you're going to go by, and you have them sit and wait in certain places, and then you drive by. And what they do, maybe you pull into a place and they're somewhere around there and they're observing what vehicles do what when you pull in there. This is going to tell you whether you're actually being followed or not. It's just a technique that you would use if you thought something was nefarious going on with you, okay? All right, now walking techniques. I'm not talking about around your house. I'm talking about when you're going into the store. So when you come out of your vehicle, don't always walk the same way. Like, for instance, I'm going to tell you, when I get out of my vehicle, sometimes I go around the back, sometimes I go around the front. Sometimes I'll walk on the back of the vehicles, and for no reason at all, I'll cut in between one, go down the center of the vehicles all the way down. I don't make the same pattern, and I'm paying attention to what I see when I'm doing that in the vehicles. I can see if there are people behind me with reflection off the vehicles that are there, and it doesn't look like I'm looking at it, but I can just see that. I change my pattern, so if someone's following me or I've got someone behind me, I can detect that without having to turn around and look. In the United States, if it's a criminal, it's not that big of a problem, but when we were downrange, when we're doing our techniques, if you were obvious about what you did, they're going to roll you up. So it's not that critical here in the States, but if you're in a foreign country, you're going to be really careful about some of the techniques that you're not indicating to the people following you. You're aware that they're behind you. They'll just roll you up. All right. Now, some of the counter techniques, like I told you, is using the windows and the mirrors and stuff when you go by the vehicles. The other thing is when you come out, do not walk straight to your vehicle. Let's say there are 2 rows of vehicles, and I'm in this row of vehicle. I walk down out of the store on this one. Because I'm in the United States, periodically I'll turn around and look behind me and see what's behind me. I pay attention to what the person looks like, his clothes and his shoes. Okay? It's really hard to change shoes. So I pay attention to who's behind me, what they look like. Then I'll cross over and I'll come over to my vehicle. And because I'm driving, I'm going to go straight to my driver's side and only unlock that one side. If I have gear that I need to put away, I'll unlock on my driver's side back door so I can pay attention and watch when I'm putting stuff away. I don't want to go to the other side of the vehicle. I'm going to do everything from my driver's side, get it done real quick. But I'm going to put things in as I'm doing that and I'm picking things up. I can be looking around. I had a lady yell, "What are you doing?" one time when I was putting stuff away. And I looked at her, but she wasn't looking at me. And I had a guy who was charging me. When I looked at him, he stopped. What he would have done is slam me into my door. So it can happen, and there's all kinds of reasons why they'd want to do that. Probably he just wanted to get my gear. But he would have hurt my legs and I would have fallen to the ground and he could have gotten what he wanted. So no matter what you're doing, pay attention as you're putting stuff away. Now, on situational awareness, I'm going to get into some of the security techniques that you can do. One of the biggest security things that you can have is your dog. They can hear 10 times better than a person, actually probably around 100 times, and they can see 10 times better than a person. That dog, now my dog will attack, but you don't have to have an attack dog. You can have a little dog. I don't care for them personally, but it's the early warning. They'll let you know whether somebody's outside, where they're located and stuff like that, depending where your dog goes. And in your vehicle, they're going to be barking, making noise. On my vehicle, if you approach my vehicle, you got my dog to contend with. She will attack you. But you don't have to have an attack dog. You're using it for early warning. Even when you're out in the boondocks walking, if there were, forget people, let's say there were like a coyote or a mountain lion, your dog will detect it first. Now, does that mean it's still not going to attack you? I can't tell you that. I don't know. But at least you'll have early warning from the dog. Okay, so whether you're in your house, your vehicle, or walking, a dog is good early warning for you. Now, lights that you can have and cameras in around your house. Now, the lights you want to have motion lights. And obviously someone can come up and turn them off, but if you have motion lights before they do that, it's going to turn on. All right, so that's going to give you an indication. All of a sudden, if it went off too quickly, you should know what your timing is on them. They have timers on them. That might indicate that someone's out there and doing something. That happened to me in the back of my house. I didn't have timers. And went to turn my lights on because my dog told me something was out there and they didn't turn on. and they unscrewed my lights, but I knew somebody was out there. Now, there's different ways of going out and checking. I'm not going to get into that, but that told me, my dog told me something was there. And because I didn't have motion lights in the back, they were able to unscrew my lights so I couldn't turn them on to flood my back area. So I have motion lights. The cameras, you know, they have the door ringing cameras. Those are good, okay? Nothing wrong with them. But if you want to check out and see what's moving in different areas around outside your house, have the cameras in trees and stuff that's not available where you can reach them and where people aren't going to look like the corner of your building. They're going to see things like that. You have trees and stuff around. Be creative where you put these cameras so that you can still see what's going on, but it's not easy for someone to detect them, and two, it's not easy for them to counter it by turning it off or something like that, or reaching it and doing damage to it. Now, varying your pattern on your house is, you don't have every day that you go out, let's say you go out and feed your animals. Vary the time that you go out and do stuff. I don't care if it's doing your animal, having a smoke, having your coffee. Don't make a routine where people can count on what you do, when you come back, where you go, and how you do that. Okay? Change that pattern. Do not make it every day a pattern that can be counted on. Now, the other thing is in driving, and I'll go over it real quick. Never pull up to where there's two vehicles where you can look straight across to your passenger side and see his driver's side. Always use offset, where he's got his door frame is blocking him, where he can't reach back and see you, and you've got your vehicle back behind him. Also, that gives you a space between the two vehicles. If nothing else, if you got hit from behind, your vehicle isn't going to plow in front and hit the other one. So you want to see where the tires are on the ground when you're sitting in your vehicle. So if you get hit from behind and you hit the vehicle in front, you're responsible for that hit, that you hit that vehicle in front of you. The guy behind you is going to have to pay for yours, but you're going to have to pay for the other ones. This enables you to have a buffer, not only if you get hit, but if I need to move my vehicle, I've got that space that I can turn right or left. If I'm not home and I don't know the area that I'm at, I will never get in the middle lane. It's easy to block your vehicle off in the middle lane. Left and right, the problem is they can't get to all sides of you to block you off. So you have outs that you can take. So remember that when you're traveling, stay in the left or the right lane so that you have outs that you can get out to if something nefarious happens with vehicles trying to pin you in to take your vehicle, whatever. It doesn't matter what they're doing. One of the ways you can tell people without having somebody sit up watching where you're driving, you almost always have two people sitting in the front seat of the vehicle watching you. Look for people that are two people in vehicles sitting there in a spot where they shouldn't be observing you. You might even see them with binos, you might see them with cameras, but almost always there are going to be two people. Now, take the gas station, for instance. If I do not go in and pay for gas in the gas station, I use my card. But if I had to go in, man, I don't care what store it is, but it's usually gas stations. Pay attention to what vehicles are on the outside. Are the vehicles running? Is there trash on the dash? What's going on inside of the store before I go in there? Pay attention to these things so that you can observe what's going on before you get involved in it. You may get in your vehicle and leave. You may go back and get a 911 and say that there's robbery going on. But prevention of you getting involved in something where you can be injured or you may have to injure somebody else is better to prevent it than it is to get involved in it. So these are just some quick techniques that I've got that you can quickly use and adapt it to your everyday use. I do these things every day. So I appreciate your time. You guys have, I would say shoot straight, but this isn't about shooting straight. Pay attention to situational awareness around you, and I'll see you later.
If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.